Hello, friends. It's time for another video. I mean, I know the lower third says it, but hello, Ian Henderson. How you doing? I'm writing an absolutely ridiculous 30-book series. It's a murder mystery, police procedural, detective series, workplace drama, even, that happens to take place in space. And a lot of people hate that it happens to take place in space because they want sci-fi. Well, screw you. This is as if we already lived in space and someone was just writing a book, a murder mystery or police procedural, as I said, while living in space. So that's what this is. We're not hardcore sci-fi here, okay? Why? Because people who read murder mysteries don't give a crap about sci-fi. A lot of a lot of the people are in it for just the puzzle aspect. They don't really care where it takes place. So great. This is a murder mystery that takes place in a different location. All of these books. We're writing 30 of them. Why? It's arbitrary. Agatha Christie wrote 30 Hercule Poirot novels, so I just picked that number kind of out of a hat and went with it. I can shave some off, I can add more, whatever. We're actually up to 32 at this point because I wrote a couple of prequels. What is the point of this video? Today, I'm just giving you an update. It's a writing update. I received feedback on a couple of different things this week. The last video was released last Wednesday. Today's Wednesday again, so, you know. Things happen. And a lot of things happen because there's a lot of books out there of mine. So let's talk about book 0 first. Book 0, the free book that I will be giving away to you via an audiobook. I just got back from the dev editor a couple days ago. I have implemented all of her feedback. The feedback was actually pretty good. In a make you feel good kind of way, but there's also feedback that structurally is good. You know, things no one else noticed, including me, and I wrote the damn thing. And read through it a few times, but she notices things that nobody else notices, which is why I pay her. So that's wonderful. I'm talking about the inline edit comments. She also provides an edit letter, which has more umbrella concepts. Those I'm still ruminating on. Most of it's been implemented, but I'm still thinking about a couple of things. That's fine. I also went back and checked that my critique partner feedback had been implemented, and it had been. Mostly. Maybe I got interrupted or something, but I finished implementing all of that feedback. That was great. And my alpha reader feedback had already been incorporated. Wonderful. Book 0 is probably the best book that I've written. It's fine. And I'm giving it away for free, because I'm an idiot. I also received feedback on the writing retreat from my alpha reader. I've got an alpha reader, which is, first eyes on a book kind of person, and from a reader perspective. I've got a critique partner. Critique partner is a reader who's also a writer, and they provide different kinds of feedback. And then I have a dev editor who's, paid to stick with it and point out everything and offer suggestions for wholesale structural changes and, character arcs and all this stuff. And I send it out to all 3 people after I've finished writing a book. And then I have another critique partner who may or may not stick with me. I'm not sure. I'll have to send her book 0, and if she hates that, well, then she'll hate all my books, so we won't continue. But then at least I'll know that, and she'll know that, and it'll be like, fine, there's no hard feelings. I am not for everyone. So writing retreat feedback that I got from my alpha reader was also negative. If you remember a few videos back, feedback from the new critique partner on the writing retreat was negative. We don't really think in terms of positive or negative. There was a lot that could have been improved. The story was difficult to follow. The opening third just made her want to DNF it. Fine. Okay, so then I took that feedback and I made tweaks. And then I sent the tweaked version off to my alpha reader, my other critique partner, and my dev editor. Now, the alpha reader has gotten back to me, and he hated it too, despite the tweaks. He hated all of the dialogue, all of the characters, and the concept. I mean, there's not much left, is there? I mean, he didn't mind the description of the house, except there were some creative freedoms that were taken there as far as the house goes. Now, I want to be absolutely clear here that I love reading his feedback. It's hilarious. He'll quote something and then he'll put his notes. It's almost like watching like a Mystery Science Theater 3000 show, or Riff Tracks, or Cinematic Titanic, or The Film Crew, or whatever the hell else. If you're familiar with any of those things. MST3K, probably the most popular, and you might know that. So it's almost like reading that. And I'll just sit and read through it. I'm like laughing my ass off. So I love the feedback. I know it's not positive, but I still love hearing what he's thinking as he reads. It's wonderful. But he wasn't super thrilled with, let's say the dialogue. Okay, great. The dialogue is very group specific, age specific. I mean, I can't say that I'm thrilled with it either, but it was accurate. Now, when I get feedback back from my dev editor, she may have, I don't know, more constructive things to say about the dialogue, like remove this, or no, we don't really say that, and blah, 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 blah. Fine, and that'll improve that. But it was as accurate as I could make it, not being a person who thinks or speaks like that. Fine. The story itself, it's impossible. It's an impossible story to tell the truth in, or it's very difficult, as I wanted it to happen. The whole story makes you feel like you're imprisoned within it. And it's supposed to be like I don't actually have the words right now. You're supposed to kind of like give up as you're reading. And instead of DNFing, did not finish, stop reading the book, if you continue with it, then you'll realize why you have that feeling. That's the point of it, but very tough to make someone commit to that experience. So if I were, okay, what are my options? Like, if everybody fucking hates this, sorry for the F word. If everyone hates this, my options are delete it, just completely wipe it out of existence, release it anyway, and like, who gives a shit what you think? I'll price it at like 99 cents, and if you read it, you read it, and if you don't, you don't. Or like on Kindle Unlimited, I guess it's free. But at least you'd have some backstory for my main series. The writing retreat happens 300-ish years before the main series, which is, now is when the writing retreat happens. What's the other option? Right, rewrite the entire damn thing to be pablum that's super easy to digest and like everyone understands what's going on. You don't have to think at all. It's kind of like what American horror movies are compared to Japanese horror movies. In the Japanese ones, they're like, this is a horror, it will continue to exist forever and there's nothing you can do about it. And in the American ones, they take that same story and they say, oh, but we managed to defeat it and now there's a happy ending. That is completely different feelings. So we could simplify the story so that everybody knows what's going on, which is fair. It's fair. I'd like people to know what's going on. I'd also like people to think a little bit. But maybe I wasn't actually smart enough to write a book where people have to think. Maybe there weren't enough clues in it where people thought, oh, I actually have to consider this. I have to consider the differences between the iterations of events, which is perfectly valid. I'm not actually that smart. I just do things. And they mostly work out, but sometimes they don't. So, fine. That's it. So that's what I spent the last 2 weeks doing. I got feedback back on Book Zero, and I went through Book Zero 3 times. And then I got feedback back on the writing retreat, and I went through all of that. And I did actually come up with an opening to Book 7. Not the thing that I said last time, but the janitor thing is what I'm talking about. I haven't written it, but I used cognitive incubation to process that in the background. Cognitive incubation, in case you don't know, I did mention it once. It's having a thing. This isn't the definitive definition for this, but having a thing that you need to solve, and instead of thinking about that, you go do something else. You can go to sleep. You can have a shower. You can do a puzzle. You can go play. You can do anything else. And that thing that you have to solve just works away in the back of your head. And you come back to it, and now suddenly you know. So I now know almost everything that happens without writing a word of it. I know everything, almost everything that happens in the beginning of book 7 with our janitor and our bugs and discovering the body and all of that jazz. So we're there now. It just takes time to think about it. Awesome, isn't it? Okay, that's it. Short and sweet. Thanks for listening to this update. And I'll try to come up with, new kinds of videos or something to make people actually want to subscribe. I don't really know how to do that. Why do I need people to subscribe? Well, because I need at least 5 genuine reviews on any given book that I release. That's why I need people to subscribe. I need you to want to read the books, review the books, and then other people on Amazon and the ecosystem, whatever, will then be influenced by those books. That's why people need subscribers in the AuthorTube space. I also try to be a little bit entertaining. I also try to provide a little bit of the writing life so that other authors can be, I don't think of myself as inspirational, but we're all suffering together, I guess, is what it is. So I try to be all things to all people, while also considering that I've spent a lot of money on these books and I need to make that money back. This is a business, after all. It's my second job, and I got to make money at it. Eventually. We're coming up on the 2-year anniversary, so get used to this voice, because I'll be back in the closet next week, maybe the week after. I don't know. We're coming up on the what did I say, 2-year anniversary of the AuthorTube, with the light and the closet and the blackness and all, and having to be quiet so they give me food, So there's that to look forward to. I mean, subscribe if you just want to see this friggin' nonsense play out. Okay, have a great day. Love you lots. Bye.